Okay. Let's see. Lydia, can you hear me now? Okay, so for anyone who is just anyone who's been with me here who couldn't hear me, it was because I had myself on mute. So I've been talking. What a me thing to be so wildly prepared, you guys. For those of you who have been like on this journey with me, time is not my greatest human gift. I have always moved in spirit time. And I was so ready today. I was like, thank you. Everyone is telling me how cute they think my outfit is, which I appreciate enormously. I love this shirt. I bought this for myself for my birthday a couple of weeks ago. I turned 43. Woo, woo. Might I also just say that I love anything with a bow or a ruffle. Anyone who's watched my lives, you know I have all these really funny blouses that are just like from channeling other eras. So I love a bow. I appreciate all of the comments, but it's so funny because I was like so ready. I was so ready for this. And then I started this without unmuting myself. So here I am. You can hear me now. Where are you joining me from? That's the first thing. What are you looking to call in June is my second big question for everyone who's joining us. And why aren't you wearing more bows? Is my third really important question for all of you who are joining me, because I'm telling you, they are a hot look. So, and if you go back, there are all of these, I'll try to find some of them, but I have, all of these things, all of the like pictures from my childhood of me being so like wearing bows and spangles and sparkles. I was such a strange combination of being really interested in stuff that was about like book smarts kinds of stuff, which is just also code for being really nerdy. And I was also really interested in like performance, and I had a brief spell as a cheerleader. At one point, the summer before I started seventh grade, I took dance lessons for most of my childhood. Some of you have heard me say this before, but I cannot not say it because it is so funny. I was deeply jealous of Raffi, the very famous child singer from the 80s. I was like, how do I get to do that? Like, that was what I wanted to do, was to be a troubadour of peace and songs about whales. I feel like I'm, every day in this human body, I'm like inching that forward. But I have to tell you, one of the big things, the energy I'm feeling for June is that it's really time for all of us to like take a deep look at the ways that we have grown and celebrate it. If you are here with me in this space, if you are here with me on this live, if you are here with me on the replay, it doesn't even matter when you're catching this, time is irrelevant, but I want you to literally hug yourself, high five yourself, just be like so proud of yourself, because I talked about this on my May Live, but it's been coming in really hot and heavy the past couple of weeks, more again, what have you. My guide's reminding me about how when we make really big, quick shifts in our life, and quick can be relative, right? Something 2 years ago, I had an active application pending for disability still. It was the summer of 2020 that I officially withdrew my application for long-term disability. And that coincided with me going all in on the decision to start my own business, because I realized that there was a way for me to really do work that benefited me and the collective. And it was time for me to take that leap on myself. And I did. And what an incredible journey it's been. And when I get frustrated with myself, and I'm like, oh, why aren't I as far along as this person? Or why, when I like question myself, when I shame myself, when I have those moments of self-judgment, they're often deeply connected to the fact that I am thinking about who I am now as opposed to the person that I was a couple of years ago. But the me of today, the me of a few years ago would be like, girl, finally, thank God. she could see me now with my bow and my whole thing and a business that's like flourishing and incredible. And I have an opportunity every single day to help people align into their dreams. Like I'm getting so emotional. I feel like I'm gonna cry. But if you've ever done even just one session with me, you know I am truly the biggest cheerleader for humanity. I love this planet, no matter what you have going on from a perspective of karma, drama, trauma, whatever it is. The beauty of my crazy clown life is that I can hold space for anything. So I do not judge. I can hold space for you to move through whatever it is that you are looking to transmute and like move forward out of without judgment. Because that's the thing, is our shadow side, a lot of shadow work is not like, people don't often think of it as fun, but it's, your shadow is part of you. And on the other side of that lies your incredible wealth of gifts. It's like a, it's like a circle in a very deep way. One half of it are the things that make us feel really uncomfortable. And the other half is our magnificent light. And you cannot have one without the other. And so to find a way to be able to shamelessly embrace who you are in a really big sense of fullness is what June is about. June is about us just finding the ways to really respect ourselves and our dreams in a way that we've never been able to before. And one of the things that I have been saying for a while is that there is a real energy right now, and I don't mean this in any way to like shame or judge people at all, but I noticed myself that a pattern that I have grappled with literally my entire life, that it, of course, because I'm human, right? As long as we're human, we're still going to have our stuff. Our life is not going to be perfect, but a pattern that I have been working very deeply on untangling myself from presented itself a couple of different ways in the past 2 weeks. And I will tell you all something so beautiful. High-fiving myself right now. Even though the pattern popped up again, the way that the pattern had presented itself about a month and a half ago compared to how it presented itself in the past 2 weeks, it's like the difference between a sinking ship a few months ago, just like feeling completely overwhelmed by this thing that was happening in my life, compared to just like I see you, I see what's going on here. I have done a lot of self-work. I'm not going to get rehooked into this thing. This is not my like drama. I don't need to like have this become, it was just such a radically different way of engaging with something that I have been working on healing very deeply in my own life. And I suspect that, because I've seen this with my clients the past couple of weeks too, that this is happening for everyone who has been going through and really showing up for themselves and doing the work. And how many times have you guys heard me say this, heard other people who were really like brilliant sages say something similar, which is that we just kept being shown over and over again that if you were showing up and doing the work, things were going to be different for you. It's not that your life is going to be perfect. That's super not the point of any of this spiritual stuff that any of us do. It's not to try to make things perfect. It's not to become like a Stepford wife, for those of you who are familiar with that movie. It's to be able to have things go as gracefully as possible while we move through the wildness that is being in a human body. So I love you so much. Hi, Zara, Lydia. Oh, thank you so much. I'm really glad. Yeah, that's what you're going through now. And Kylie, oh, thank you. I appreciate all of the excitement about my, about this look that I am fostering. Anyway, yeah, those are the big things about June. The big things about June are that June is, for of course those of us who are in the northern hemisphere, we're entering summer, and if you are on the opposite side of the world, then you are entering winter. And these seasons are so interesting from a polarity perspective, right? Summer is about like being outside, being in the world, being engaged with your body in these ways that are really beautiful, like being in community. Everything is blooming so beautifully where I am right now. And a couple of weeks ago, I officiated my first wedding ceremony for one of my dearest, oldest friends who I just love so much, who married a man that I also just he is such a kind, sweet, wonderful human being. I was so honored and proud to be able to like to be able to bring them together, and really like tie their love together in a completely new, vibrant way. And I did it on the Olympic Peninsula, which some of you have heard me talk about this already, but the Olympic Peninsula is straight up one of my spiritual homes on this planet. When I graduated from college, I did AmeriCorps, which is national service. For those of you who live in the US, it's the domestic version of the Peace Corps. And I worked in an after school program in Seattle, and it was incredible. I loved the place I worked. I loved the kids that I worked with. I co-ran a garden club. It was amazing. It was like, it helped me so much to become the person that I am today, taught me so much about sharing my gifts. And it was just incredible to be able to be such an incredible contribution in the way that, for those of you who have done AmeriCorps, you know what it's like. It's grueling in a lot of ways, but it's also one of the most beautiful things that you can do. So I had done AmeriCorps years ago, lived in Seattle. I spent a lot of time on the peninsula. I love that area so much. It was super beautiful. And so I was just reminded so much of the connection that we have to the earth, the sense of stewardship that we're all being called to really deeply engage with as we move forward. So here we are. If you are entering the winter months, then you have this sort of opposite opportunity to really go like deeply inward, and to also be able to experience the beauty of the cold weather and all of it. So it's beautiful, whatever you're moving into, whether you're moving into winter or summer. I'm really excited. We are going to be, we have like a few more weeks until we hit the actual official start of summer. But yeah, lean into that beauty, that truth, the enormity of the trees and the blooming of the flowers. If you are somewhere where summer is fast approaching, get yourself outside, get yourself in the sun. The sun is really, 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 really beautiful, and it's a really powerful tool. We need the sun to be able to be in our fullness. And one of the things that we have, we've been told so much about how scary and dangerous the sun is and all the stuff, but it's actually important for us to get some sun. So be aware of that. Make sure that you're getting at least a little bit of uncovered, uninterrupted experience with the sun every day if you possibly can. We need it to be able to synthesize vitamin D and to really just have the kind of energy that we need. So those are my big things for June. Leaning into the you that is the you that you maybe have been keeping parts of a secret. Right? When I started my business, it was a really big, we'll say like ripping off the Band-Aid for me. I have always had a spiritual practice. I talked to my guides when I was a baby, channeled light language from the time I was small. I never kept my spiritual practice a secret from people, but there's a big difference between being the weirdo in the punk and artistic community who has a spiritual practice and like talks about angels and aliens and is just that like oddball friend, to being the person who talks about that in public. I knew that starting my business would change things for me. I knew that people that I could feel that people that I had loved were gonna maybe not know how to react to me like talking about this stuff in a bigger way in public. And some people have been incredibly supportive of me. Other people have been weirded out by it, and it's been an interesting journey to see how people that I really loved for a long time responded to that and reacted to it. But one of the big things that we're all being called to do is to be ourselves no matter what. It doesn't mean that you need to share every single thing about yourself and your life. You still get to, decide what you are going to share with people. But we're really being called more than ever to be ourselves, whatever that means, whatever that looks like, and to just not be afraid of to not be afraid of what anybody else thinks about us. It's not easy. It's not easy, right? It's not easy to just shamelessly be yourself, to claim your weirdness, to claim your magic, to be like, wow, like these are the things about me that make me feel like a little bit too strange for public. I posted a meme the other day, which is still making me laugh. I didn't literally think I'll post it below. I posted it in the group already, but it's a picture of like a wizard on public transportation and about what it feels like after you've had a spiritual transformation to try to basically like pass through the 3D world. That's what it feels like. It feels like that. So it's time to find your people. That's what this group is about. That's what all of my work is about, is helping you unlock your connection to the divine so that you feel completely aligned into and safe to be your truest, most beautiful self. So let that really sink in. What would that mean? What does that look like? If you're watching this live, let me know if there are things that you feel like you've held back about yourself, if you've done anything recently where you were really like called to do something that like pushed you out of your comfort zone. And I also want to talk about, so all right, so that was the big thing, was just like being yourself completely. Earlier in the year, I was interviewed on a podcast called In My Non-Expert Opinion. Love the show. It's amazing. And she asked me at the end of it if I had anything for her. And I ended up seeing this image of this movie that I really love. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's called The Family Stone. And I've talked about this before on lives, and if you've listened to that podcast and you've heard me talk about this, but it was really funny because when she asked me this question, I saw a scene from the movie kind of like play out in front of me. And I was like, well, your guides are saying to just like, let your freak flag fly. And that is a quote from the movie. And that's what this is about. June is about letting your freak flag fly. Let it fly, my sweethearts. Be your weirdest selves. Just lean into the you that maybe you have been afraid to share with people. It doesn't need to be like super dramatic or happen all at once or anything like that. But this is a month of really like leaning into being phenomenally proud of who you are in your heart. So take a deep breath in. On the inhale, just imagine you're just like breathing in all of your bravado, all of your bravery, all of the magnitude that you possess around who you really are. And on that out breath, just imagine that you're just letting go of fear. Ooh, we're just letting it go, letting it flow back deep into the earth, the heart of the earth herself. She can take all of that and she can recycle it back into the building blocks of life. And she needs us to do this. This is really important. I don't mean to be like so dramatic, but it is urgent right now that we really all come home to ourselves. Because when we come home to ourselves, we remember that we are also here to steward the earth. She needs us to step up for ourselves so that we can step up for her. And we do that immediately by embracing our divinity and our light and our love. I did a session a couple of weeks ago with an old friend of mine, someone who I've known since I was in my early 20s. And this person asked me like what I'm doing to keep this beautiful human skin of mine in good order, essentially. And people have always asked me that. I mean, I love you. If you know me, you know I am I love beauty products. I love them. I did costume and makeup design in college. I learned how to sew as a kid. I went to the Fashion Institute for Technology for a while. I love ornamentation. Beauty is like truly one of my favorite things in the world. Getting really sick with nerve pain was super hard for me for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons was that I couldn't wear makeup anymore. It was too hard for me. It would like I couldn't even hold cups a couple of years ago because of my nerve pain. Things would fall out of them. I couldn't carry a purse, never mind trying to like do all the stuff to like print and make myself so pretty. But that was really hard for me. I mean, there were pictures of me as a kid, you know, at dance recitals, jazz hands, makeup. Like I love beauty. I love it. I'm a double Taurus in sun and moon. Beauty is my jam. So it's been really nice for me as I've been on this like road to physical recovery to be able to come more back into that like sense of glamour and wonder and beauty. Glamour also, just to be like a real nerd for a minute, the etymology, which is the origin of the word glamour, is that it's an old fairy. It's like a term related to the fairy realm about just like beautiful enchantment essentially. So I'm all here for the glamour. I'm all about the glamour, baby. And if you're not like, it doesn't even matter. That's what this is about. If you're not into like the glamour and you're into a totally different way of being in your human body, then that is freaking perfect too. And that's what all of this is about. That's what this is about, is whatever is in your heart. Not worrying about what your cousin and your sister and your brother and your neighbor and that person down the street and that person on the other side of the world and whoever is just like shamelessly being you. Oh, Lydia, yes, I healed your nerve pain. I'm very proud of that. That is a thing that I have really witnessed, is that when we can face our trauma, we have the capacity to really heal in a very deep way. I mean, the nerve pain, the way that my own nerve pain shifted, the way that clients' nerve pain shifted, the way that I see people move out of things that have really plagued them, sometimes literally for generations. Because when we look at our own patterns, a lot of times the things that we struggle with go back, right? I'm not the first person in my family who struggled with PTSD and anxiety and depression, all of these things that were really hard for me, on top of all the other stuff, the chronic nerve pain that I suffered from. But it's really, we do ourselves and everyone around us this incredible service when we heal our own stuff, because it creates a ripple through the planet. I'm playing my finger wands, which is what I like to call this brand of energy clearing. So thank you, Lydia. Yeah, you feel like I'm speaking to you today. Hi, Alda. I am so happy. And hi, Avni. Yes, catch the replay. I have just been asking people, if you are catching this now, if you're just popping in now, go ahead and let me know what you feel like you have been holding back and what you feel like you're ready to just like fucking wildly embrace and claim in a totally new way in June. It's time. All right, so I think I got through the first two big points. Let me see, I wrote some notes down. Give me 1 second here. Oh, I want to talk about the energy of quitting. Okay, so this is a sort of nuanced thing that we as humans have to lean into. There's the moment in our life where we know that like we're out of alignment and we're not following the guidance and we need to shift course because we are like not living our truth. And then there is this other thing that can happen when you lean into your truth, whether it's starting to be an entrepreneur, which is amazing. It's been the best thing that ever happened to me. It's also impossible. You can't be a successful entrepreneur and be lugging around a giant bag of your own emotional turmoil. You have to face your stuff. And it's not even just about being an entrepreneur, it's about just being successful in whatever you do. So it's about being successful in your, if you work for someone else, if you work for yourself, it's about just like being truly in that space of joy and emotional fortitude, really cultivating the sense of inner peace that is what helps us to be able to weather any storm that comes our way. And when you start the spiritual journey, as you start to unearth those layers of the stuff that you're working on healing, sometimes the desire to quit can be really big. Okay. So it's again, that's why I brought up the thing about how it can also sometimes misalignments can be a sign that you need to shift course. But there's this thing that specifically happens when people go really deep on their shadow, on the stuff that they want to work with, where it can feel like nothing is going right. And that is a moment where you do not want to throw the towel in. I've seen it a couple of times in the past month with clients of mine who have gone really big on themselves. It can feel like we are drowning sometimes under the weight of our own nonsense, but that is the exact moment when you want to just freaking lean in. Okay, so it's about getting as much support as you possibly can. It's about ramping up your daily practice. It's about finding the ways that really support you. And one of the things that I really do for people, aside from the fact that I certainly like help people to be more embodied and physically balanced, I help people recover from chronic illness, car accidents, all of the stuff, any like residual physical illness and trauma. That is one of my specialties. But the reason that I help people do that is because I help you up level. Basically, I help you see the points in your life where you need to release things. And I also have this brilliant gift, which I love, which is that I can see your soul blueprint. I can see things about people that they have forgotten about themselves. I've always been able to do it from the time I was a little kid, and I had to learn how to like dial it back. Thank God I am in business now where people pay me to help them see these things about themselves. A lot of times when people do sessions with me, they say to me that they've never felt more fully seen. And the beauty of my methodology is that I can help anybody. I can help people who are just starting the spiritual journey. I can help you fully align into your highest timeline, kickstart that journey. I can help people who are just doing all of the stuff, who are super successful, much further along, have had a, practice that's gone on for decades. I can help people at whatever phase you are because I can see your soul blueprint. We always have room to grow. I work with people who are earlier in the journey. I work with people who have, as I mentioned, been on the spiritual journey for decades at this point. And I just encourage you that no matter where you are in the process, that you get some new levels of support. So one of the things that I am offering, I have a couple things, I mentioned them here in the notes on this post. If you sign up for my newsletter, during the month of June, you get entered to win a 30-minute session with me. I'm going to do the drawing on my July Live, which I'll be scheduling soon. It'll be the first couple days in June. So that's the first thing. And if you sign up for my newsletter, you also get a really cool, very powerful healing as part of that. So you get entered to win a free session with me, and you get this awesome freebie as part of it. If you book a session with me during the month or you refer a client to me, then you also end up with an additional entry to win. So that is one cool way that you can further integrate yourself into my world. June 16th. 6 p.m. Eastern time, I am going to be running the second ever Intergalactic Book Club. This book is so good. The book that we're going to be talking about is The Extraterrestrial Species Almanac by Craig Campobasso. It is so much fun. I have the physical copy. I've listened to the audio. There's an Audible version of it, which you can also listen to. This is not a precious book club. Like, you can listen to the audio, you can read part of it, you can read the whole thing, you can do all of it. You can read a couple of chapters. Like, this is really for you to be able to essentially be more comfortable in this sense of galactic homecoming that we are witnessing. I have been, if you've followed me for a long time, you have heard me perhaps say this before, but a couple of years ago, I sent a text out to a couple of friends of mine with whom I had a group chat, and CNN had just published something else about like the Pentagon verifying something about UFOs. And I texted out this article to a bunch of my friends and I was like, does anybody want to talk about this? I've seen UFO. I have saw UFOs from the time I was little. I've seen UFOs. I've seen them. I've seen them in New England. I've seen them in Arizona. I am, as most people who have coached or mentored me would say, I am the most magical. People call me the most magical person they've ever met all the time. I've always been called a future. I've been called a future person by multiple different people over the years. I am a future person. I came here to help people remember who you are, who they are, who this planet. We have been tricked into thinking that we are just these small beings that don't matter. And that is the exact opposite. We are fucking gorgeous and beautiful, and our human hearts are radiant and magnificent in a way that there is no way that I could my excitement about how cool you are. There's no way I can put that into words. This planet is beautiful and amazing, and we are also definitely not the only life that exists. I have always been amazed at the human arrogance. What we know about space is enormous. We know that space exists in a way that we cannot even perceive or conceive with our human brains. To me, it just seems very clear that we're not the only life that exists. How would that be possible? And I also am confused by, I'm just confused in general. I'm confused by the number of people who seem committed to being scared of the idea that there is life other places. I feel like that also, I feel like that speaks to things that are about humans, about the way that we can be really terrible and judgmental, the way we can ostracize people who aren't like us. So I feel like that fear of the unknown, certainly there are, beings from other places that don't have our best interest at heart, but we're all from somewhere else. I mean, some people are from Earth, but we've lived lives in other galaxies, on other planets and other places. We have galactic families. So if you are curious about just disclosure and about homecoming and about all the stuff, please join me in an awesome group of people June 16th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about this book. Can't recommend it highly enough. We're really excited. The last time that we did one of these, it was a while ago, but it was amazing. We could barely stop talking. It was so much fun. And it's just so much fun to be around people who share that interest in the cosmos, in galactic history, in all of these things, in the truth of who you are. So please tell your tell all your friends, get the book, sign up, register. The link to register is here in these notes. And if you are catching this replay, I'll make sure that it's like easy to get into. Sign up for that wherever you're catching this, if you're catching this on IG after the fact. And then the other really exciting thing that I want to share before I wrap it up, since I've been talking for quite some time at this point, is that Fairy Boot Camp, which is a container that I have been birthing for a very, very long time, kicks off June 23rd, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is on super sale. You save 50% or $400 off of the price of tuition if you register before June 9th. So sign up for that. You get 4 weeks of live transmissions from me. It is going to be so much fun. I came here to help you remember who you are. And one of the things, as I have mentioned, and I say this about my work a lot, my work is hard to explain. It's wacky and very mysterious. As one of my beautiful clients and people who I have worked with says about me, 1 minute I'm like mumbling something in light language, and the next minute your problems are gone. And the thing is, that's why my method works for anyone, no matter where they are on the journey. And this Fairy Boot Camp, the energy behind it is hot and amazing and exciting. And it's going to be 4 weeks. So it starts June 23rd. It'll be Thursday night, 6 p.m. for 4 weeks, starting the 23rd. And I can't wait. It's only $397. So you get 4 weeks of live activations with me. And this is the only time that I'm going to teach this live in the same way. This is going to become a digitized course going forward. So this is also a really amazing, very exciting opportunity to be able to like be in my vibration. If you have been curious about what it's like to work with me, go ahead and do it. Just sign up. It's going to be so much fun. I truly cannot wait. My enthusiasm about it is sky high. And yeah, June, let your freak flag fly, my sweethearts. It is about leaning into who you are and taking some risks. You are your rainy day fund, as my guides have in my mind famously said. You are your rainy day fund. Nothing that you could invest in outside of yourself is as powerful as the investments that you could make for you. The return on that investment, the investment into your own heart, translates into money and opportunities and a way better, deeper, cooler life than you can even imagine. So sign up for all the things. I love you so much. I will see you soon, I hope. And if you are catching this live, yeah, go ahead and let me know in the comments what it is that you're looking to fully embrace about yourself in June, and what parts of you are going to let people see in a totally new way. I love you so much. As we close this, just close your eyes for a minute, put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath in, and on that exhale, just let all your worries go. May you walk in peace and joy and miracles and beauty today and always. I love you so much. Bye.